Hey, this is Adam, Theros Media. So I get a lot of questions about Angie's List Home Advisor. Is it a scam? Is it worth it? And how to do it for contractors. So just want to go over, is it a scam today? So I just wanted you to stick with me. I'm going to go over the marketing report from the company I used to work with, Angie's List Terms of Service, and then how we actually used to sell them when they came in. So we used to do a ton of Angie's List. I think last year when I was there, we spent, I think, about 40 grand with Angie's List / Home Advisor. Yep, $40,000. Angie's List / Home Advisor. And the big thing about making it profitable for your company is you have to know your numbers and you have to actually know what type of services are profitable for you to sell on Angie's List, because they give you a bunch of leads for pretty much everything. And a lot of times, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, a client of mine got a lead in from Angie's List for a air conditioning replacement for 150 bucks. Now, he doesn't know if that's profitable for him because he doesn't know his number. So we broke it down. We figured out that actually the lead for air conditioning replacement, if it's just an AC condenser change out, needs to come in at around 50 bucks for you to be profitable in this type of thing. So that Angie's List lead isn't going to be profitable no matter what you do, no matter, if it's a trash lead or not, if it's the best lead in the world, it usually is not going to be profitable based on your averages for your business. So that's kind of how I went about Angie's List Home Advisor. So I used to be the marketing, they call me the general manager, but I did the marketing and pretty much all the sales for the company that I used to work with. And we used Angie's List and Home Advisor a ton because that's what they were doing before I started working there. And that's kind of what they were comfortable with. Personally, we could have got a much better return on investment on Google Ads or Facebook or even SEO for a business. But we used Home Advisor because they knew that they can get a consistent lead flow. And eventually we did get off of Angie's List. So you can see here at the very end, we tailored off a little bit, try to get off it altogether. But at the beginning of the year, we spent a ton of money on it. So I'll show you the numbers behind that. And then how we actually did it. So Angie's List, if you don't know what it is, a ton of contractors use it. It's a paper lead service that sells leads to contractors for whatever service the customer is looking for. So if I was in the HVAC field, so if they're looking for AC replacement, AC changeout, they're looking for servicing on their HVAC system, they go to home, they see an ad or go to a page for Angie's List or Home Advisor, type in their information, and they send that to the contractor. Now, Angie's List Terms of Service, you're not exclusive. So they can sell it to more than one contractor. They can sell it to up to 6 contractors in your area. And I have reason to believe they can sell it up to 12 because Angie's List and Home Advisor merged maybe a year and a half ago. And you'll see Angie's List in Home Advisor, Angie's List leads in Home Advisor, and Home Advisor leads in Angie's List. So they basically sell to an unlimited amount of contractors. So it's highly profitable for them to generate leads. They've been driving up the cost per click marketing in Google Ads tremendously because they can spend basically anything they want on a click because they're selling out lead up to 10 to 12 times. They say 6 on the phone, but probably up to 10 to 12 times. So let's say like the contractor that just got the lead in yesterday for AC replacement, 150 bucks times 10 is 1,500 bucks per lead. So you can basically bid almost anything you want at that point, especially if you're Angie's List, because you're selling it for a tremendous amount of money. In our market, in my local market, AC replacement click might be around, well, it depends on how you run the campaign, but typically anywhere from $6 to about 35 bucks for Google. And if they have a 10% conversion rate, let's say they're spending 350 bucks to get a lead in, they're selling that for 5 times the amount. So it's highly profitable for Angie's List to sell these leads. Now they bill you every single time you get a lead. Market match, auto accepted. It doesn't really matter if you want the lead or not. You're auto accepted unless you pause your leads. Exact match leads are auto accepted as well. You spend a little money getting your exact match leads typically. Instant booking leads are auto accepted. Instant connector, you choose to accept it, and opportunity leads you choose to accept upon request. So opportunity leads are just in the dashboard. You just click opportunities. You can see the different things going in your area. Typically, this type of thing isn't for contractors who aren't big enough to handle it. So is it a scam? A bit. Because they're selling the leads to 10 to 12 contractors. I mean, how in the world can that be ethical? In my mind, so we here in my company, we build Angie's List type lead generation platforms for contractors, and they're exclusive to that contractor. So if you're spending money on your website, your funnel, whatever it is you're building and you have, or if we build it for you, you're spending money on it's basically a website to get leads in exclusively to you. So that's more along the lines of adding value to the market in my mind. And there are different types of leads. Obviously, there are appointment leads. Some people can only handle getting appointments in. There are name, email, phone number, and like big companies are going to go after pretty much anything. They have people that call you no matter what, call you 4 or 5 times a day, so they can handle those type of leads. But generally, smaller contractors can't handle those type of leads because they're usually in the field or they have 1 or 2 people who aren't dedicated to Angie's List outgoing lead generation, and they shouldn't use Angie's List, something like that. That's why, in my mind, it's not really a scam, but kind of. You shouldn't be selling the lead 15 times over. It's unethical at best. Actually, unethical at worst and a scam at best. So here's our experience and how you can make it worth it for you. So we've spent 40 grand last year on Angie's List. I know the company that I previously worked for is spending a ton more now. I think they're spending probably $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So of that 40 grand last year, we got about 700 leads, and these aren't all estimate leads. These are both installation and service leads. Cost per lead was around $57 for the whole year, and which is not bad. But a lot of these leads, they brought the cost per lead down. Were service leads, which were selling for $35, $40. But the installation leads are about $120 to $150 in our area. So this cost per lead has a lot of service built into it. Estimate diagnostics. This is if you're getting on an estimate for a designer, for someone like myself, or if you're sending out a service tech to, taking $89 up front to send a service tech out. This is what estimate diagnostic means. So we got about 244 of those, and our booking ratio is about 35%. So that's usually what you want to see for a booking ratio, no matter what the lead source is. Angie's List is no different. You have to hammer these leads hard. So we had a process of calling, I think, 7 times in the first 2 days, and then once a day after that. And I think I was doing the majority of that. And then texting, emailing, phone calling. You have to be on it. And plus, you can't let these leads slip. So some of these leads that we got in January were sold in April or May. Some of these leads we got in February were sold later in the year. So that's why these numbers look better at the end of the year, because you're still selling the leads throughout the year. So we had a lead generation platform ourselves. So we built something for Google Ads, Facebook, to generate leads ourselves. Those had a lot better ROI than Angie's List, but we used the same marketing system. We use the same follow-ups, same scripts for all our marketing. We just put everything together. Booking ratio was better for instant connects, obviously. For just straight up leads, not really. You probably, 1 out of 7 might be average for installation leads. Service leads usually have a higher close ratio, especially for us anyway. But install leads, people would have installation, or they would have estimate already, whatever. But we made a decent amount of our money from installs, as you can see. Cost per estimate was about $160 to get in someone's house. So $160, if you're not making more than that, you're losing money on your leads for us and Angie's List Home Advisor. Install jobs, we had about 40, we had 39. Cost per install job was about $1,000. So that means every estimate we sent out, it costs us about $1,000 to win a bid. So out of the 244 estimates we sent out, we won 39 of them. So that gave us a cost per install of $1,000. Now, if it's just to install AC changeout, no inside work, it's a condensing unit outside, 2.5 tons. We might have sold that for $4,000, $5,000, depending on what it was. The higher SEER ones were obviously more profitable. So we could sell Bosch systems for, $5 or $6 grand, just the outside unit. So $1,000, typically you want a big job for that. But if it's anything less than that, if we weren't selling a job for $5,000 or $6,000 at $1,000 per install, you're not making money on it. Service jobs, we had about 50 of them. I did not get all the tickets because sometimes there are multiple tickets, so I didn't even worry about that. I just lumped everything together in revenue. So overall, we made a 757% return on acquired customer, but return on ad spend for Home Advisor Angie's List, which is pretty decent. Sometimes it depends on your marketing budget. That is either low or high. Your marketing budget is going to dictate how much you need a return on ad spend. So for us, our marketing budget was around 10 to 12%. So we needed about an 8 times ROI to be profitable as we calculated for our lead generation. So we were still profitable, just not as well as we calculated inside our budgeting. So we budgeted for 8 times our return on ad spend. We got 7. So we were a little less profitable on Angie's List than we were on other things. So is it a scam? So at best, it's a scam. At worst, it's just very unethical how they do business. That's just in my opinion. But you can make it work for you if you have a big company that can handle all types of leads coming in, or 2, use it very strategically in the type of leads you get from it. I'd recommend install leads is kind of what we focused on, and then at the end of the summer, we focused on service leads to get installs, like, out of warranty systems that were dying. We use that to get installs. You have to have a good service tech for that to sell something. But big numbers like this, 1,600% return on ad spend, that was really helped by just following up on all the leads we got in the months previously. So if you don't have a good lead follow-up system, if you're not dedicated, if you don't have a dedicated salesperson, that's probably the main thing I would recommend, is to have a dedicated salesperson for your leads that are coming in. If you're not big enough to have that, then I recommend against Angie's List. They do better things for you. This is just one avenue to help you bolster your sales team and the leads coming in to your sales team. This shouldn't be the only thing you do. And if it is, typically you don't make nearly as much money as you want to. A lot of times you're bidding on this with 5 or 6 other people. And a lot of times you get on the phone, a lot of times people say, okay, I've got 3 estimates, what's yours? And they would describe the estimate. We had to give them an estimate over the phone. So you're really playing the numbers game at that point, and you're playing the race to the bottom for pricing. So is it a scam? No. At best, it's unethical. At worst, it's a scam. So hopefully this helps you. Talk to you soon.